Okay, this video we're going to talk about how to massively increase the amount of reorders or repurchases that your current business gets, or if you don't have a business where you're getting reorders or just don't know what you're going to do to make money online yet. I have a fantastic way for you to start a business totally from scratch and have basically no competition while you're doing it, of which there's already proven demand for what you're selling. So I'll go through all what that is about on this video. So fixing maybe a problem with getting more lifetime value from a customer for you guys that already have customers. For you guys that want to make money or switch, maybe start a new business, I have a fantastic idea for you to do so. So with that said, we'll get it right into the content. Anymore, all you have to do to create a profitable business, really, is to make it easier to order from you than your competitors. This is what the e-commerce has been about in the product space for the last 25 years. When the internet came out, websites were very good. And then progressively, as websites got better, you could outdo your competitor or competitors in your market space just by simply having a better website. And the people that did really good in the OOs, in the turn of the century, I've seen this myself. I've been in web marketing for 15 plus years now. Once 2010 hit, websites were starting, you couldn't make a website for a few $1,000 or make your own website anymore and be competitive because people were spending, tens of thousands of dollars to have a nice, good looking and easier to use website platform. And just by doing that, you could take out the older guys. And the older guys were sitting there, scratching their head, what the hell, why can't I do this? And they were all basically going away. All the not true marketers, if you will, the people who just got in early, got all pushed out by the people, the true marketers, the true business people who understood you had to invest money to make money. And if you just simply made that website better, more trustworthy, a little bit more intuitive to use, you could actually carve out a certain percentage of the market for yourself, and realistically a very large part, and then just push out some of the older guys who weren't willing to spend. They rode the wave of the internet early on, and when the new guys were coming in that weren't new but had a better website, they could have took their money and invested in a better website. They never did it. And then they, slowly started losing more and more of their sales and their market share, and then they're just out of business. So whereas there was a major consolidation in most product markets where there was 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 different players that were smaller players starting out, 5 or 10 took over, the ones that really invested into a decent website to have a better user experience than the other people in that market, and just pushed all the old people out that were too cheap to make a good website for users, or take their money that they were making and to consistently make their websites better. They just started eating up all the profits themselves, built up their lifestyle. The new guy came in, had a better website, killed them. So anymore, those old guys are all gone. And it's tough to have a better website unless you're in a small market where there's less money at stake to come in and do that kind of thing. But the idea here is, if you could just simply make the process of ordering better / easier, you don't have to have better prices. You don't have to have a greater selection of products or better products or any of that. Just making the experience better, you can do better. And not only that, you could probably charge more money, and that's actually realistic. That's who has the best website can charge the most. That is actually still true today. And more beyond just the better websites, more specifically, if you have you can make it easier to order from you as one way to be able to charge more, be able to do better. But you can also make your stuff, one way to compete in business is simply to make it easier to reorder from you. So you can make that better website, in other words, to get people to do business with you, and it's easier. But if you're in a business that has a lot of repeat orders, but maybe you sell health supplements and most of your money's in the repeat orders, you could actually carve out your own piece of the market, not by making it easier to order from you, but easier to reorder specifically. Once you've gotten that customer's data, information, credit card information, shipping information, all that stuff, you could just make it easier to reorder that health supplement. Let's say we're talking about in the muscle building space, you know, there's supplements that you take while trying to lift weights and stuff to build muscle up, protein powders and stuff. That person needs to order that protein powder every month to 2 months. You could have a business simply making it easier for the person to reorder than anybody else. You could pay the same amount to get that customer as the other guy or girl or gal, but because you've made it easier to reorder, they stick with you longer. That gives you your competitive edge to get you basically be able to pay more to get a customer than anybody else, and that is your way to get in as a little guy and carve out your piece of the market. If you can get reorders more than your competitors or at a higher rate, you can simply pay more to acquire a customer than the other people in your market, therefore pay more in Google ads. You could afford to pay, you know, what the going rate for Google ads is to get in the game, and then, you know, you win. You've created a nice, profitable business for yourself. So with that kind of in mind, lots of e-commerce sites have a reorder option on their sites, but few to none have the, you know, text reordering and app reordering, which is the new stuff out of the market to increase the amount of times customers reorder, increase the reorder rate, and likelihood that customers stay. So e-commerce sites have, you know, back in the day they didn't have it, but then, you know, 10 years or so ago, people started figuring out that it's like what I told you. You don't have to, you could win on the front end and get a customer, make it easier to get a customer on the front end, or you can just simply win on the reorder side, making it easier to reorder. And if I could go log into my account on an e-commerce site where I'm reordering stuff, going back to the protein supplements that I need to build muscle when I'm trying to build muscle through weightlifting and so forth, strength training. If I could go into my site, instead of having to go through all the rigmarole that I did the first time and just simply click reorder on the last order that I made, and try to cut out as little or as much as, you know, the information, all the stuff that I got to do on the reorder, I like, and it's easier than the last websites I've dealt with in the past. Now I've got a reason to stay, and you're going to get a hell of a lot more revenue out of me than the average person's going to get who doesn't have that, if they don't also have the reordering process. So e-commerce sites typically have this. There's very few people, as per what my point was here, that have text reordering. More and more all the time, people are wanting to use text messaging. At our own firm, I run a PPC agency here. That's where I get all the ideas I've given to you on this channel, if you don't know already. People try to text me all the time. I like to use email. If you go through email, phone and email, but email is particularly good because it documents all the stuff that's said. So if something later on goes wrong, you could point to what was said like 6 months ago. You can also record your calls and do the same thing, but more and more and more clients, because it's easier, want to just text me. You know, they have my cell phone number if they've been a client for a while, and then what do? They don't want to send an email because they got to get on their computer or they got to log into their email. Even if it's on their phone, they still got to log into their email account. They'd rather just text, and it's also obviously more appropriate to do short form in a text, so you could say, where are we at? Send. And it takes literally, 10 seconds to do that versus sending an email, it might take a couple minutes. And they're too embarrassed to send such short form copy or writing in an email. So with that, you could take that information and you could apply it to your business. Knowing consumers would rather text now than send emails or call because it's quicker. The reason why text also is big is because when you're texting, it can take 10 seconds, whereas if you call the person, it could take 5 minutes between all the, they might ask you stuff that that's irrelevant to what you needed to call about in the first place. We all know how that goes. You could build text into the customer service aspect of your business. So if somebody wants to interact with your business, they can start doing it through text, which is more free and open. They're more willing to do it which if your other competition isn't doing it, then you have an edge. As it comes to actually ordering, why is it that more businesses, the ones that do clean up, where to reorder you could just simply text, I would like to reorder, send. And with that, they have your number on file, so they just simply send out your stuff, or they simply show up at your house to deliver that service. That's much easier than calling. And it may not seem like that big of a difference to you, but it is a hell of a lot of a difference for a lot of people out there, because calling, here's the thing. You only need to be just marginally better than your competition in terms of the effort it takes to do business with you, to have customers just prefer to do business with you. The difference between it taking 3 minutes to call and 10 seconds to text you saying they would like to reorder is all you need to be able to get a whole shitload of the customers in your market once they all find out that you have a better, more efficient way to reorder when they have to constantly reorder, or you're in a market where you have to reorder a bunch of times. And when you want to reorder, you just know you can text and you're done. So, specifically, we've seen case studies where people have implemented this kind of thing and totally cleaned up, having the reordering or rebooking or rescheduling all done through text. The other thing is the app reordering, specifically creating an app for your business so that when somebody wants to reorder, instead of going through your website, you've got a custom app where there's an interface where it says reorder, you hit a button to reorder, and it's done. So you don't even have to text. You can open up the app, hit reorder, and just as fast as texting, it can be done. And with that kind of app, you technically could have reorder this. Like if you have 2 or 3 or 4 different versions of orders that you don't really order, you can just click on which one you want, click once, and you're done. When that app has, you aren't asking them, of course, to change, your shipping address. You're just making it easier. 1 click and done. I've also personally seen where somebody's done that. They've done extremely well. That in itself is a differentiation point enough to run a whole entire business off of, when your other competition isn't having an app that makes it that easy to order/reorder from your firm. So I'll give you some real examples here. First of all, in the spa industry, I've seen a spa switch over to text booking, because obviously go to a day spa, you have to book ahead of time. You can't just walk in. And just switching over to having to call you could call if you want, you never eliminate that, because everybody has a different preferred method of communication. So, which is always why you have email and call options on your landing pages and so forth with your ad campaigns. But in this situation, they informed every customer that come in, hey, we have text booking. So if you ever want to book, just say, I would like to book at 12:30 a.m. on Tuesday. And then basically they would just text back saying confirmed, or basically you can't do that time, but most of the time it's fine because they can take up more than one person at a time. So basically you text, you get a text back saying confirmed. For the most part, once you've texted, you're good. And if you ever wanted to make sure you were good, you just check your texts again, and within 15 minutes, you're good. Hell of a lot easier than calling. And it's catchy, and it makes it easier if you know multiple spas that you like to go to. You're saying, I would like to go to the spa this weekend, and I don't feel like calling right now, I'm tired. Just text, book at 12:30, done. Now you got the business instead of the other spa, just because you did that one simple little thing. And I think the reason why people don't do this is because other people don't do it, so they don't think they have to. So many people think, oh, well, the other people do it, that I have to do it. And the real money is in coming out with unique solutions yourself that consumers prefer. If you want everybody else's money, you do what everybody else is going to do. If you want abnormal returns, you come up with better ways to do things. You always test things and you try to make it your consumer experience unique, so you have a unique reason why people come and stay with you. But I think when the majority of people don't do this because there's no carved out way for them to follow to do this. They have to think too hard. If we all text booking, what if we don't have the time? And then how does this work? And they got to create documentation. They don't want to do it. So if you're the person that, the first person that does that in your space, you have now a huge competitive advantage, given every single person now is going to probably book more often with you because it's easier, and they're going to stay longer with you. So you have a lot more customer lifetime value from each customer than your competition's going to get, which leaves you, going back to what I said before, able to spend more to get a customer. So you could just spend, for the most part, Google ads and stuff like that is priced at a point, even if you do a good job, where you'll make a little bit of money if you do everything right. But if you just fix that back end like that, just have that one thing that's different about your so-called back end reorder process, you're making a shitload of money, and that's all you had to basically do. But back to the spa itself, the lifetime value of a customer switched over to where they were getting over 100% more total revenue per, each time a new client came in for the first time. They would go on to spend over double what they were spending before just by using this text or booking through text system, basically. Taking the time when they come in, explaining all you have to do to book again is just text. You'd like to book at this time and then you're done, basically. And for that matter, if you text and they explain, even if you don't hear back from us, you can come in at that time, we'll honor it. So all you have to do takes 5 seconds, say what time you want to come in, you're done, you're booked. It was such a novel idea for their, people that like to go to the spas regularly, and they got them in there the first time, that it really made a difference. On top of that, of course, when you add in some special offer to get them in the door at a decent rate, which same spa actually did a promotion where if you could show the receipt for the spa, another competing spa in the area, we would give you the first time for free. So they got a shitload of people from the area that are the frequent spa goers coming in the door. And then with the text-based rebooking, they kept them, and they got them more willing to come in more often because it was easy to rebook, which you may again think, well, what difference does it make if they have to call? How would they actually be willing to come in more often just because they can text? It made all the difference. I can tell you this for a fact. So that one little thing made that business, it made all the world in terms of what they were making, but also what they could do with their advertising. Now the ads were just so much more profitable, they could scale those ads up hard. So it's not even about doubling the lifetime value from a customer. Now we can spend, additionally, there's more things we can do with the advertising to scale that up. Of course, you basically, if we spent 30% more per customer on ads, we can get 3 times as many customers potentially, because there's some kind of threshold there where we can't get any more customers at our current cost per customer, but if we're willing to pay just a little bit more, we can get a ton more customers. And that happens a lot in Google ads and Facebook ads that I see. It's not directly proportional to where you raise your ad spend this much, you get this much more customers. A lot of times you raise it a little bit, you raise your budget a little bit, and willing to spend a little bit more per customer, you'll get a lot more customers because there's just certain thresholds, but it may not be the case in your market. So that's the spa industry. As it comes to the apps that I was talking about, making it easier for people to reorder, the new thing is to get a custom app for your business, even if you're just a micro business. Seems like only big businesses think they need to have an app. Well, you can, if you have to where customers need to reorder, I highly suggest, or if they need to rebook, either or, to have a app to make it easier to reorder/rebook, because it's so much easier for people. They would pay a premium price doing it. So you could creating a custom app like this that's real simple that allows people to rebook. You're talking about $5,000 all in to get a simple app like that made. So there's no reason not to do this. And I can guarantee you it will get you more customers and customers that are more likely to purchase more often. Both. To give you an example of that, I've seen this done in the dry cleaning space. So most dry cleaners, you have to take your stuff to them. But there's some services that'll come pick up the dry cleaning from your location, wherever you're at home mostly. And they had that, but when they switched to having an app so that they could reorder simply by clicking, pick up my laundry or, my clothing that needs to get dry cleaned on the app, They just had a button. Once you press it, people would be there within the next 2 to 3 hours to pick up your clothing, and you're done, basically. So with that kind of situation, it actually works better, of course, if you can come right away. This company was more of a startup, and it was still working. But if you could promise that when you press a button on this app, that they're gonna, for like, if you were in dry cleaning as well, could be there actually within 30 minutes. It's even that much more exciting and amazing for the customers to do that. But they actually, just with that one thing, given nobody in the area has anything like that in that local market that they were starting in, all the people that normally pay a dry cleaner because they're dry cleaning their suits or whatever they're doing, it's just so much more convenient to not only just have someone come to them, that's one thing, but specifically, instead of having to go online and you got what kind of clothes do you have, how many do you have, how much does it weigh, whatever, you just have this app, you click it once, you're done, they come, and basically they got it boiled down to a flat price for, if you only have, if you have under this much amount, it'll always be a flat rate, making it easy so you don't have to tell them exact. That's the key thing. They figured out how to do a flat rate system so that they didn't have to ask them a bunch of questions in order to reorder. Whereas all the other apps out there that kind of try to do the same thing, where you could put on your app, all the stuff that you have so that they can come pick your articles up. It takes forever to answer all those questions, as compared to a flat rate where you could just hit a button. Now everybody just wants to use your service because it's so damn convenient. And so when they did that, they were able to get about 30% more orders in the same time frame from their customers as if than their old customers who weren't using the app. And so if you're going to do this kind of thing, you don't have to get your old customers to start using the app, but new customers, as they come in, you can start just pushing them to the app. And you could say, hey, you could sign up with the app, and then from now on, you just click the reorder. You just have one button to click. And but anyway, with the customers that they start educating on using that app and doing things that way, that the app users, or the ones that they educated to use the app, were spending basically within a 1 month time period, they were reordering 30% more, roughly speaking, than the people who they didn't show the app and educate to use the app upon ordering the first time. Not only that, they upped their prices by 45%, just partially to be able to do the flat rate thing that I mentioned that they had to switch to in order to have a one-click ordering system through the app. But people were willing enough to pay to get the convenience of the one-click app reordering, that they were willing to pay much more money for basically the same quality of dry cleaning. And so with that said, if you did this, not only going to get people to more likely order more often because it's so damn easy, it takes literally 5 seconds to order, but it's so easy they're willing to pay more. The reason for that is you're the only one in the whole area that has it, so they know if they're going to switch to somebody else, they're going to have to go back doing it the old way. They're willing to actually pay you more for that level of convenience, which, again, it may not cost you very much to be able to do that. Yes, you might have to work things out a little bit so that you can just, like with the dry cleaning, at least have a flat fee and that kind of thing. But if you work it out, we've proven in that market specifically, they're willing to pay considerably more just to have that, where instead of taking 15 minutes to order, it takes 5 seconds to order. So in that market, maybe you won't be able to raise your prices that much in your own market, but in that market we could raise them a lot because the amount of benefit of having the one-click ordering versus what the other alternative was great enough, where they could charge 50% more, 45%, 50%. I said 45% before. That's what it was specifically, but they're willing to pay considerably more just to have that. And so as it comes to your business, if you want a higher reorder rate and you want to be able to actually charge more, you could do text reordering, but you also have the app, or you could do a combination of both. as it comes to starting a new business, Uber got, blew up because, there was taxi services out there already. You could just call for a taxi service. What made Uber unique is because it was so much more convenient. You open up the app, you click, come and pick me up, and you're done. Of course, there's also a novelty factor that you have the map in. If you integrated your reordering with the map, like with the dry cleaning example, so that it shows where they're at. So if you could show people where you're at if you're coming to their house, certainly that's going to add even more novelty factor. You can charge more, and they're going to order it more often just for that novelty factor. I don't have any direct evidence of this because, of course, the dry cleaner just had a simple click, and then you were guaranteed to have them come within a minimum amount of time, and it was supposed to cost the same amount every time, and that was all it took to be able to charge 45% more and still get 30% more total customer lifetime value from a customer. So it's another thing to consider. But anyway, with that said, Uber got, because it was easier to order, they took over the whole industry basically. There's of course taxi services out there still, but you get the general idea. It was just made it easier to do business with them, and then therefore they made their, that was everything. And you can do this for your own business, and you could actually start a new business in a bunch of different markets where this isn't taken hold yet. Of course, I've heard, different people make fun of, Uber-like businesses. Gary Vee is one of them, would say, don't start the Uber of like plumbers, or basically. But reality is, I don't know, it is a good idea because we've seen this happen in the dry cleaning market. It will actually work in quite a few markets, assuming you're in the right markets. Now, Uber for plumbers, that is actually a pretty stupid idea because you're not ordering a plumbing service often enough. So if you downloaded an app so you could click to get your toilet unclogged with a one click, you wouldn't remember the app by the time you needed your toilet unclogged, and you would have 50 million apps on your phone for everything that you need done. But specifically for the services that you reorder often, like we're talking about at least once a month, but ideally once a week, you could actually, that whole concept of having an app that makes it easy to reorder or book specifically through the app would crush it in many, many different markets. I gave you a few different examples that, I was half tempted to start one of these myself when I saw the dry cleaner do so well. If you were in some of these markets, some people are sort of doing this, but they're not doing it all the way. So if you're thinking, oh, there's people doing this already, well, a lot of them are doing it like in the dry cleaning space, but they're asking too many questions. What you want to do is you want to make it, and if you can't order or book within 10 seconds or less, it takes too long, it's too hard. And just cutting out just a little bit more time than anybody else to reorder, you're going to end up with a huge chunk of the market. If you had a car detailing business, which there's apps out there where you can get stuff done in the car dealing space, but same thing. What kind of car do you have? What do you want done? No. Press this button. Within 2 hours, we'll vacuum out your car. We'll make sure it's all clean inside the car, and it'll cost you $45 every single time we do this. Basically, you've got a tile, one of those GPS tracker devices where you have that in your car. Once you click reorder, we go to wherever your car is at the time. We clean it out. Certainly you could be at work, you press that button, we clean it out. When you come out, you're done. You know your card's going to get debited for $45, and that's the business. So you didn't change the business, you just made it easier to order. That would be a fantastic business all in itself. So if you wanted to start a new business, that's gotta work. Same thing could be done in a number of other spaces. House cleaning or home cleaning. Yes, there's cleaning services, but what do they all do? You have to order a reoccurring service. You gotta have the cleaners come like once a week or once every other week. Sometimes there's a whole segment of the market who can't afford to have a house cleaner all the time, but what they would want to have is have somebody come and clean when they don't have time to clean. That's kind of a catch-22. I'm sure some people in the cleaning services business would say, well, if you did that, then you wouldn't know how dirty the house was when they came because it might be like extra dirty. And and these are all things that you would have to get through. The prize is, though, if you could figure out a way so a cleaning crew could show up within 2 hours of hitting a button on your phone, and it was going to cost $100 every time they come, and they were going to be able to, do it, and they know, and you could do, and you already, that company or your company already knows how many rooms that house has already, so they know what to charge for the flat rate, because they figured out what the flat rate would be the first time they came out, and every other time they could just charge the same rate. That would be a very effective way to run the business. So on the front end, of course, you may not be able to have a flat rate because you don't know enough about the house, but respectively, part of the business could just simply be you go out for an assessment the first time. After that first time, then the flat rate, to have people come with the click of a button can happen after that. As it came to the dry cleaning company, I run a PPC agency here, if you don't know already. What we would do is just advertise this app to anybody who's looking for a dry cleaning service in that particular city that company was based out of, or founded in, basically, or starting out in. Because their plan was to go all over the U.S. with this. And so there's nobody looking for that kind of solution, but you advertise, you say, looking to get dry cleaning, flat rate, order with one click of a button. They go to your landing page, it explains it, and even though in that particular case they have to come to you and there's a little bit of an interaction process, the hope that it's going to be every single other time you have to do it, it's going to take you 5 seconds. They would go through that initial process with you. And the same thing with the house cleaning. You could have a landing page that explains that whole process very well. We come when you want. We come within 2 hours. Most of the house cleaning services, of course, you have to wait till Saturday because that's the day that they're going to come back. You need it Thursday because you just had a party. You click the button, they come, they clean it up. There's going to be a flat rate. You could explain, yes, the first time is going to take a little bit of work to get figured out what we need to charge you each time. But once that's done, one-click ordering, baby, and you'd have a business. So in that case, you would advertise it where people are looking for house cleaners, but you're going to be able to get more out of a customer than anybody else advertising there. They're going to order more often than they would otherwise with somebody else, and you're going to be able to charge more because you have something that's unique and preferred. Now you can be able to suck up all those expensive clicks on Google search from people that are already looking and ready to pay, which is where I would recommend to advertise, and you got yourself a business. Other than Google search, if people are looking for what few services out there where they do have a cleaning app, a cleaning service that's hooked up to a cleaning app, you could also advertise on the App Store, on Google Play through running Google app campaigns. You could also do Apple search ad campaigns and advertise where people are looking for those competitor apps and have them download your app there is another alternative way. What you want is somebody who's already prepared to spend money and then explain how your concept's better and then get them to try it out. It might not be quite as efficient as the other people where they've already got a known way to do business with them, so people have to think as hard and they're going to get a higher conversion rate initially, but your back end is going to be so much more profitable that you can absorb that little bit of less conversion rate that you'll get on your landing page that has to explain the whole concept to them. But it's still worth it at the end of the day with how much more they're going to order in the long run and how much you're going to be able to charge more, having that much better way that people prefer to do business with you. So house cleaning, you could do home massage. There's some masseuses that'll come to your house. They bring the massage table. Why not every time I want a massage, I can click a button on my phone and somebody's there within 2 hours. You could do the same thing for prescription delivery. This is, again, stuff that you have to reorder on a regular basis. If I need my prescription, there's home delivery services. There's even the services where they can ship you the prescription. But again, going back to the cleaning thing, there's some times where I don't need to have it exactly at the same time. Sometimes I'm sick, my back hurts, for elderly people, they can't get to the drugstore, and they like going to the drugstore when they can, but sometimes they can't. and they're not tech savvy, if they could be pointed out on your phone, anytime you can't get to the drugstore, you click this button, they'll bring you your prescriptions, whatever you normally take, that would work as a business idea. You could do the same thing in home grocery delivery. Of course, home grocery delivery, these apps ask you what you want to order. What if you could just simply with one click reorder everything you reordered last time? Of course, these other apps do that to a degree, but it may not be in your city, or in some markets they don't have it. If you're in a market where there's no app that already offers an automatic reorder with one click, then you got a business idea. You could also do this in the handyman space. All kinds of single mothers out there with the divorce rates as high as they are, they don't have a man there to help them lift stuff, hang stuff, put in a new air conditioning wall unit, whatever it is. And so the handyman services are high in demand now. There are services out there where you can request that kind of thing. You have to get on the phone and explain your situation. What if you just had a handyman that would come within 60 minutes of clicking one button, and then you would just explain, hey, I need this moved here, I need this moved here, can you do it? And you're going to pay a flat rate each time, and then and because you need handyman services all the time, it's a hell of a lot nicer to be able to just click a button and some guy arrives than to have to call up and explain my situation and get a quote and all this bullshit. Same thing can be done in the lawn care space. Lawn care, going back to the cleaning and going back to the prescription situation and industries. Specifically with lawn care, sometimes you don't have time to mow your lawn. All these lawn mowing services are predicated upon weekly services. Sometimes I need to be able to go, I want to go camping this weekend. I can't mow my lawn this weekend. And if I have to mow my lawn, I have to, I can't go camping until after I mow my lawn Saturday morning. Sometimes I don't want to do that. So once in a while I want it done. And if I could have somebody come within 2 hours clicking a button, that would be amazing. That would be a great business idea, and you could do it in that market as well. So there's like a lot of different ways you could go with this, a lot of different businesses you could start. Yes, it's the reason why most of these companies they have like, with the laundry service, the lawn care service, the reason why they don't have, it's all subscription based like that, is because it's hard to do the scheduling, and with your current resources of guys that you have to mow the lawns, to be able to show up like in real time like that. But if logistically you could work it out. The dry cleaning place that I told you about worked it out. You would just have to have, people that are queued up, that are ready to go out at a moment's notice. And at first it may be, certainly inefficient when you don't have very much business. But as you start getting business, you can, through, having analyzed the data in a spreadsheet about each day about how much order volume is going to come in. And with that, you'll know about how many guys you need on staff for each day of the week that you have orders. And of course, there's always going to be a little bit of downtime with some of your staff, but because you could charge 50% more, you can work that out. And because they're going to order 30% more than what you're going to get otherwise, you can work that out. So it gets to be more profitable and more feasible the more you grow it. So you could just know that it's going to cost a little bit of money to get it up and going, but practically speaking, and with the more data you get, the more accurately you're going to be able to forecast how many people you need each day to cover all the service calls that are going to come in. And you're going to find it being a lot more consistent than you think it is in terms of how many orders you get per day, and then therefore how many people you need per day to service those needs. So as far as the app goes, that would be those are great opportunities. You could of course use the app to do online booking. So instead of through text, they could click a button, enter in a blank what time they want to book, hit enter, and they're done. And a lot of small businesses that do booking, medical clinics and stuff, they could have that, and they don't, and it would be cheaper for them because they don't, basically need a secretary. A secretary can only service one call at a time, but if they had the booking through the app, it would just come in, and then they could, look at 10 different submissions to the app at a time, go put them on the calendar, and then click a button so that they would have an automated text that goes out to all of them at once saying confirm, 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 confirm. And it would actually save them money on the on the logistics side of things in terms of actually getting those bookings in. So it would save them money long term, as well as make the business just more attractive in the long term because they're catering to their audience more. So anyway, I'll wrap it up with that. Hope you enjoyed this video. I have a ton of other different videos about this. Channel is primarily about making money with PPC, Google search ads, Google Display Network ads, LinkedIn ads, Facebook ads, so on and so forth. If you want to make a ton of money with doing PPC and online advertising, this is the channel for you. If you like this video as well, I'd consider giving it a like and thumbs up. I really will appreciate that and can get the video out there more. It'll help the algorithm be able to get this video out for other people who want to be able to start a business or get the reorder rates up. So I really appreciate that. Beyond that, if you have any questions about anything I covered, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time. With that said, I, by the way, have a blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog with step-by-step instructions on how to build PPC campaigns that are basically guaranteed to make money. And so if you want to learn on a more individualized basis on how to do PPC that works, that we have to guarantee results for our clients, and we show you what we do to get their results on a guaranteed basis, you can find great information there as well, all authored by me. As a final note on this particular video, I just want to also get out there to you guys that we do, as I mentioned on the last few videos I made, we have a turnkey program where we have turnkey PPC campaigns where in one, like in the plumbing industry, where we'll work with the plumber for a few years, build them a multi-million-dollar a year working campaign, and which we can give to you to use for your own plumbing business or to set up a plumbing business and then outsource all the work to somebody and just use our proven campaign that's all ready to go in a different market where we don't have a client in a different market where you could easily use it in that market. And we offer the whole campaign, show you all the results that the campaign gets before running it, and give you the landing page that goes with it as well to get and replicate all the same results that other companies do using and getting with that particular campaign. And them making those millions of dollars, you get to see it for yourself before using that campaign for your own self. We do the same thing on the product side. Some product companies, we have campaigns that aren't using anymore in favor of other campaigns that make even more money but are still profitable. Those old campaigns are still profitable. You can use those to start a product business. You can source those products and have a turnkey business essentially for yourself, given the ads are the hardest part to get working so that you don't, you have your ad cost does not exceed what you can afford to pay and still have a profit margin selling those products. We have turnkey campaigns like that as well. So if you'd like to be able to, instead of just making your own campaigns, just have proven campaigns that you can use, contact our firm at Guaranteed PPC. So with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you on my next video where we have another great PPC strategy and business strategy for you to use to make more money. And so see you then.